Jason Garrett, his first full season as the head coach, took over midway through last year. Tom Coughlin in his 8th year as the head coach of the New York Giants. Now, Felix Jones, who was the starting running back at the start of the year and is now the backup to DeMarco Murray, has taken over the kickoff return duties. So he's back. The Cowboys won the toss and they receive. And 7 yards in, taking one step out and then taking a knee is Jones. And Romo and his gang will go to work from the 20-yard line. Let's meet the Cowboys.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma. Tony Fiammetta, Syracuse.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Miles Austin, Monmouth University.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
Montre Holland, Florida State.
Phil Costa, Maryland.
Kyle Kozar,
Arizona State.
Tyron Smith, USC.
Smith, the youngest player in the league. He'll be 21 tomorrow, their #1 draft choice. Fiammetta introducing himself. He's missed 3 games with an inner ear infection, the fullback, and he could make a big difference tonight. And Romo on first down has his first pass tipped as Matthias Kiwanuka got a hand on it. Incomplete, second down and 10.
You don't really think of Matthias Kiwanuka as a pass player, but he gets underneath this one. They're obviously Romo coming out trying to just get something established early on, and I would expect the Giants to pretty much stay with that 4-man pass rush tonight, and that's really the key.
The front 4 minus, as Michelle said, Umanura tonight. A little toss. Here's the rookie Murray trying to cut it back. Murray to the 23, 3rd and 7. Let's take a look at the Giants defense.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Linville Joseph, East Carolina.
Chris Canty, Wahoo Wah.
Jason Pierre-Paul, South Florida.
Matthias Kiwanuka, Boston College.
Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Quan Williams, University of South Florida.
Corey Webster, LSU. Deion Grant, Tennessee. Antrell Roll, the U.
Aaron Ross, the University of Texas.
Giants decimated by injuries in the secondary. It started in training camp. 5 defensive backs on injured reserve. 3rd down and 7. Romo throwing, and the pass incomplete, intended for Miles Austin, overshot him, and it's a 3-and-out start for the Dallas Cowboys at home.
Well, not a very good start either. We'll start over here with Doug Free working against what I think is one of the most electric pass rushers in the game, and Jason Pierre-Paul, and it was just a miscommunication down the field. Miles Austin's first game back, and that one was sort of thrown to nobody. Not a good start for the Cowboys.
Matt McBriar, one of the best in the league. Will Blackman is back to receive for the Giants, and that is taken at the 21-yard line. And up the sideline, he comes to the 37-yard line. And let's take a look at the Giant offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Ahmad Bradshaw, Marshall.
Henry Hynoski, Pittsburgh.
Hakeem Nicks, North Carolina.
Victor Cruz, Massachusetts.
Jake Dog, The Ohio State.
Dave Deal, University of Chief-Illinois.
Mitch Petrus, Arkansas.
Kevin Booth, Cornell.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Kareem McKenzie, Penn State.
Chris talking about that offensive line. Mitch Petrus made his first ever start last week. Second-year man out of Arkansas. Booth has moved to center with Boss inactive. And the Giants start from the gun. A little toss, and this goes to DJ Ware, and he's taken down after no gain. So they get Bradshaw back last week after he'd been hurt, gone for 4 games. They have Jacobs, and they start with Ware on a little toss out of the backfield. And the word from the Giants that we're just getting, because of a violation of team rules, Bradshaw does not get the start. There he is, but clearly in uniform, but not starting tonight because, as we just found out seconds ago, a violation of team rules. 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 37-yard line. And off the play fake, the pass over the middle, and that's taken by DJ Ware. It'll be 3rd down, and let's take a look at the Cowboy starters.
Kenyon Coleman, UCLA.
Jay Ratliff, Auburn University.
Jason Hatchett, Grambling State University. Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Brady James, LSU. Sean Lee, Penn State.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
Terrence Newman, Kansas State.
Abram Elam, Kent State.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Mike Jenkins, South Florida.
Secondary will have their hands full. The Giants healthy at wide out. 3rd down and 5. Here come the Cowboys. The Giants pick it up, and the pass is caught at the 49-yard line. Elam tackles Nix, and that's a 1st down for New York.
Well, you can see what the Cowboys trying to do right away. They're trying to isolate Mitch Petrus, who is the interior guard right here, and just create one-on-one situations for Jason Hatcher there. He handled that okay, and they flipped DeMarcus Ware to the other side to go against Kareem McKenzie, but he got a lot of help on that side.
Now Brandon Jacobs comes in. Hanoski is the fullback. 1st out from the 49-yard line. Jacobs to the outside, has room. Whoa. A hurdle move, and out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Went over Gerald Sensabaugh like he was in the Olympics.
Like Ronaldo Skeets Nehemiah on that play. Anytime you see a guy that big hurdling somebody, but what defensive players always want to do, Al, they don't want to tackle this monster up high, so they try and cut him low. Jacobs knows it. He just goes over the top. We see tight ends do that as well. Pretty athletic move for the big guy.
And a good block by Hanoski, taking Hatcher out of the play at the point of attack. The ball at the 38-yard line. Back-to-back 1st downs on the Giants' opening drive.
Double wing to help in protection. They are concerned about this Cowboys pass rush.
Toss, Jacobs. And Jacobs stopped after a gain of 1 by Sean Lee. Eli Manning really having a very, very good year. Cut down on the interceptions last year. A lot of those were tip balls, but all things considered, 23 touchdowns and 11 picks. And for Eli, in a year when, you know, Aaron Rodgers is having an unbelievable year and Drew Brees is also having a tremendous year, he would be getting MVP consideration. Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator.
Yeah, if you just took Eli's 4th quarter numbers, he would be the MVP.
Steps drop, and it's almost intercepted. And Terrence Newman had nobody between him and the goal line.
Anytime you fool around with a veteran quarterback, he had the drop of Eli measured right there. He's looking right in the backfield. He had no help behind him. That was not some gimmick defense. That was just a veteran Terrence Newman, who unfortunately for him dropped his pick 6. That should have been an opening touchdown for the Cowboys.
3rd and 9. Ware comes back in the backfield flanking Manning. 3 wide with the dime defense for Dallas. And Eli escapes and throws, and that pass is incomplete. That time Ballard, the tight end, he was covered by Newman downfield. 4th down.
Well, they go basic now with Anthony Spencer still over here on this right side, working against Kareem McKenzie, and they're trying to create these one-on-one matchups inside against these guards. But that time Eli scrambling out, nowhere to go, but really about 3 or 4 more yards. They could have attempted a field goal there, decided to take the shot down the field.
Steve Weatherford, first year as a Giant, doing a nice job this season. Bryant is back there, but he won't have a chance to get it, and with a little backspin on the ball, that will pin Dallas at about the 8-yard line. Opening quarter, 10:21 to play. No score in Texas. Dallas from the 8-yard line. Second drive for the Cowboys tonight. Beginning on the ground. This is DeMarco Murray, rookie, 3rd-round pick out of Oklahoma. So Tony Parcells took over for Drew Bledsoe. In fact, against the Giants at halftime of a Monday night game. Having a good year. His numbers are similar to Manning, but for Romo, those 3 excruciating losses, the one against the Jets on opening night and against Detroit, can certainly be pinned on him. And last week's clock management on 2nd down and 9, and Romo loses the ball, and he's in the end zone, and Tony Romo with a safety. So Romo couldn't get control of the ball. Then he's in the end zone. He's down there, and the Giants take a 2-0 lead. New York up by a deuce, and they'll get the ball off the free let it be noted that Pierre-Paul gets credit for the safety, so that's the first scoring play of his career. It begins with a safety. Romo losing control of the ball, trying to regain it, lost his balance down in the end zone, and now McBriar with a free kick from the 20-yard line, and Blackman is back to run it back for the Giants as he hauls it in at the 18-yard line. And the coverage is very good as they swarm him inside the 30-yard line, and back we go to the scoring play, Chris.
A lot of stuff going on this play. Jason Pierre-Paul right here. The Cowboys decide not to chip with Witten. He works right around Doug Free. Now, is there any forward progress? No. Did his knee go down where you could claim the sack? No. And Witten was trying to explain to him, listen, just get that thing out of there. You know, because a lot of times when he was lined up there, he was wide open. You saw Witten. He could have just turned and flipped that ball. But if Romo stays on his feet there, he could have just thrown the ball away and survived the 2 points.
Could have, but the way it turned out, no argument at all. Clearly a safety at the end, and it's first down for the Giants now. And Manning with a deep drop, and he tries to set up a screen and loses control of the ball as he releases it. Pressure put on by Sensabaugh and by Lee as well. It'll be second down.
Yeah, Gerald Sensabaugh, of course, you're talking about Rob Ryan. We're going to see a lot of different blitzes. You'll see him coming up late on your screen. One of the untold stories of this game, though, Abram Elam, who lost his father this week, went home. Based on that one, they had it nailed perfectly.
Elam and Kenyon Coleman know this defense very well because they were with Rob Ryan in Cleveland, and he brought him over here this year. And Jacobs chugs his way to the 31-yard line. It'll be third down, and let's go to Michelle.
Well, Al, as you mentioned, Ahmad Bradshaw did not start tonight because of a violation of team rules. Sources close to the team say the violation was curfew related. I'm told he is expected to play tonight, however, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So the punishment is no start in uniform. Third down and 7 with 9 minutes to go in the opening quarter. 2-0 Giants. Play clock all the way down to 3 as the Giants finally get set. Here comes Ware around the corner, and a deep bomb is thrown and caught by Nix, and Nix will set up a first down and goal. And Eli hanging right in there with Ware breathing down his neck, coming around the corner, 64 yards.
Well, you get the full-out blitz coming, and Eli is going to hang in there. But on the outside, there's just nobody deep because of the straight man-to-man coverage. You bring that kind of pressure, it means that you're going to have Allen Ball back there in a one-on-one situation since the ball doesn't get there. And the Giants are playing like they haven't for the past month.
First down and goal. Jacobs is the back. They've got Hanoski in the game. And Ballard also, and a fade is incomplete, intended for Nix, who was covered there by Mike Jenkins. Manning has been terrific this year, going deep. 29 completions to targets more than 20 yards downfield, and that's #1 in the league. Here's Manning waiting for the play call. He's looking over at the bench saying to Kevin Gilbride, as you look at Ware, as Manning is able to escape him. Eli waiting for that play call, which he gets now with 7:49. You've got Beckham in the game, who scored a touchdown last week. Play clock ticking down again to 4, 3. He gets it away, and he runs that same play, but to a different guy, this time to Beckham, and that's incomplete. So Jenkins just playing, in effect, the right corner no matter who comes out of the Giants pattern, covering on both plays, 3rd and goal.
Well, Beckham's a big tight end, had a touchdown last week against the Packers, and I guess they're just feeling like the bigger body on the outside. Look at Eli, didn't even have the laces. Did you see him throwing the ball?
Yep.
Didn't even have his fingers on the laces. Sometimes the ball just lands funny, and you got to get it out of your hand so fast. Probably impacted that throw.
Now you've got Nix going against Jenkins on the left side. Manningham has missed a couple of games, set to the right. They run a draw on the inside, and the Cowboys are right there as Ware gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage. That's DeMarcus Ware. So they hold, and the Giants will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
as usual, when the Cowboys need to play, it's DeMarcus Ware. People talk so much about all the sacks and his abilities, but when you talk to offensive coordinators around the league, they say he's one of the most disciplined outside linebacker types in the game. He plays the run as well as he plays the pass.
So get away from Deal. Here's Collins for a chip shot field goal, 23 yards, and that's good. With 7:07 to play in the opening quarter, the Giants leading Dallas 5-0. Rob Ryan, first year as the defensive coordinator. Cowboys are improved. Kind of interesting. 2 years ago they were great under Wade Phillips as the head coach. Last year defense terrible. Wade got fired. This year Rob comes in, and Wade meanwhile has done a magnificent job with the Houston Texans. Kickoff goes through the end zone, and Romo will go to work from the 20 when we come back to Cowboys Stadium. From the 20-yard line on first down. Big hole exploited by the rookie DeMarco Murray. Gain of 9. That Giant defense, of course, they've been decimated from the beginning of the year by injuries, but 47 points to the Saints and the Packers over the last 2 games. 350 or more passing yards and 4 touchdown passes allowed in each game.
Yeah, did we mention who the 2 quarterbacks were?
There you go, Breeze and Rodgers.
Yeah.
Hello. Second down and 1 from the 29. Murray to the 33-yard line. So when the season begins, after Barber and Felix Jones and Tashard Choice had kind of been a 3-headed attack, it was going to be Jones, and then all of a sudden Jones got nicked up, and they brought Murray off the bench, and they had a phenomenal debut as a starter against St. Louis at a rookie record, and there he is with almost 1,000 yards this season. Cowboys rookie record set by Murray, who makes the catch and takes it out to the 40-yard line. Gain of 6.
It's been kind of interesting talking about DeMarco Murray, that you can just see the difference when he has his fullback in the lineup. Tony Fiammetta, when he's in there, he really makes many more explosive plays. And I think, Al, it happens sometimes with rookie running backs. When you have a fullback in front of you, you just follow the guy. It's not as complicated as far as making all the reads. And it really has been a major factor for DeMarco Murray.
Second down and 4. Fiammetta missing 3 games in a row, and then
it's not nearly as complicated as like snapping the ball and some.
False start. Offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Left guard Montre Holland so announces Scott Green on the first penalty of the game.
We don't even want to mention the word bad snaps and what the Cowboys have been through this season. Clearly, everybody thought the snap was on 1, and Costa thought it was on 2.
So there's a penalty on the left guard when it really should be on the center. Second down and 9. They run a draw. The Cowboys staple. And that's Murray fighting his way close to a first down. Tollefson making the tackle. It will be 3rd down and 1. And now Murray is slow in getting up. So he's rolling around, and there's an injury timeout.
Watch Murray finish this run. Now, this is what I like about this kid. Watch him put his head down, split those 2 defenders, and get up the field, and couldn't tell exactly what happened to him.
Well, Murray down, the crowd oohing and ahhing as they look at the play on the board. Injury timeout. Well, this is right now a live shot as they finally get Murray some assistance to get him off the field, but clearly a major game-changing, impactful injury.
See Dave Tollefson really landing right at the bottom of this. Both ankles kind of turn in a weird way, and that is very big for the Dallas Cowboys. Not only is DeMarco Murray a star and really has been sensational this year, but the only other active tailback is Felix Jones, so it's Felix Jones or bust at this point.
Well, there he is. He's the only tailback. You've got 2 fullbacks, and that's it. 3rd and 1, and they'll give the ball to one of the fullbacks, Fiammetta, to the 45-yard line, and now you got some action taking place down there with Chris Canty and Tyron Smith. Canty has been around for a while, 7 years in the league. Smith, the youngest player in the league, as we said before. the rookie out of USC.
Well, Chris Canty, the former Cowboy, and Tyron Smith right here at the tail end of this play. There you go. Going to finish that one. Helmet off, and it's a good idea not to throw the punch at that point.
From the 45-yard line. Blackburn limped off for the Giants. Under 4 to play in the quarter. And that pass is taken by Austin. That's a 12-yard gain. Chris, what now? I mean, that's a huge injury. You have 2 active running backs. And now it's going to be Jones all the way. All right, so how does that impact what your offensive game plan is going to be right now?
Well, and plus the fact that we talked a little bit about Felix Jones with the Dallas Cowboys, and their feeling is that maybe he is better as a complementary back, not a guy that's going to carry the ball 20-25 times. They were hoping for about 10 carries out of him tonight and about 20 from DeMarco Murray. Well, forget that now.
Jones's career high in carries is 22, and that's a pretty good start for him, but there's a flag down as Grant finally makes the tackle after a long game, but a flag back at the 38-yard line. For the moment, it's 26 yards.
To the face, 94 defense.
And it stands.
5-yard penalty at the end of the run. First down.
Kiwanuka.
Well, you've got the youngest player in the league, and Tyron Smith coming right down here is going to set this one off now. Working against Linville Joseph, who the Giants tell us is perhaps the strongest human being on the planet Earth. So Tyron Smith, I've been watching him a little bit so far in this one, and he has not backed down from anybody on the Giants. Big play.
5-0 New York. 3 minutes to go in the quarter. First down at the Giant 12-yard line. Romo rolling. Throws back door. Taken by John Phillips, and Phillips into the end zone. Touchdown, Dallas. Well, they lose Murray, and all of a sudden the adrenaline kicks in for Jones. Romo on a roll, comes backside, gets a good block from Free to help spring Phillips to the end zone.
Watch this entire left side of the offensive line as Romo goes right, they go left, and look at this. I mean, there are 3 blockers, 3 huge blockers, and only 3 defenders left to that side. Nice call by Jason Garrett.
Now the rookie free agent Dan Bailey for the extra point with 2:49. That's Phillips' first touchdown reception of the season. The kick is good, and the Giants have now trailed at one point or another in every game this season, including this one. 7-5 Cowboys. Cowboy Stadium, capacity over 100,000. The roof is closed. They were actually going to open the roof tonight, despite the fact that it's in the high 40s outside, but there was a threat of rain. That roof has only been open for 2 games in the history of the stadium. One was the opener against the Giants on a Sunday night in '09, and the other was the Monday night game against the Giants last year. 7-5 Dallas. And the kickoff goes through the end zone as the Giants take over at the 20-yard line. 116 straight starts for Eli Manning, and the starting QB since his first start. The Cowboys have had 7 different guys. The Redskins have had 7 different quarterbacks. The Eagles have had 8, and now you've got Eli. 116 consecutive starts, tied for 3rd most all time, behind only, of course, Brett Favre, who's out of sight, and his brother Peyton, who had his string, of course, snapped this season.
I'll tell you what's impressed me, though. 5 of the Giants' 6 wins this year have come when Eli led them on 4th quarter comebacks. And he looked like he was going to do it again last week, and with that beautiful drive, but then Aaron Rodgers answered it.
From the 20 on first down, here's Jacobs. Tough guy to bring down. Lee and company stopping after a gain of 4. It's tough to bring down, but one thing about the Giants, Chris, no running game this year for the most part. A lot of it had to do with Bradshaw being hurt, but the Giants are averaging a measly 3.3 yards per rush.
Which you just can't even fathom with Tom Coughlin. I mean, that's been the trademark of these Giants teams over the years. I know they've had a lot of shuffle on that offensive line, some veteran guys retired, but it just has not been the same team, and it's been all Eli this year. Last week they ran it a little bit better, but that was a Packers defense that was missing their 2 starting inside linebackers.
2nd and 6. Off play action, sliding left, and then throwing, and the pass is right on the numbers to Hakeem Nicks for a first down.
Tell you what, it's a pretty good sign in this league when you can get double coverage and beat it for a big play down the field. Mike Jenkins, who came back last week for his first game after being injured, and Eli hung with him all the way. All these Giants receivers back and healthy now, and it's entirely possible that we're going to see a guy like Mario Manningham be the key guy. The more they double Hakeem Nicks and some of these other receivers, that sometimes it's a remote guy that ends up the star.
23-yard gain. He's already caught 3 balls from 94. Jacobs, the middle was clogged, so he springs to the outside, and a big run for Brandon Jacobs. Now in his 7th year. 4th round pick of the Giants back in 05. Pick of 15 yards.
To play, you have to be able to run against pass rushers. You have to be able to get inside them to slow them down with a little bit with the pass rush. But watch Hakeem Nicks down the field finish that block on Terrence Newman up at the top of the screen. Watch this. Just came up with a big reception. Stays on him, Beautiful block.
DJ Ware is the tailback. Play fake, pressure on, and Eli has to throw it away. The pressure put on by Ware. Tom Coughlin, through the years, the Giants rush offense, if you go back to when Tom started in 04 in New York, 2nd best in the league, 133 a game, and last this year. And then they're best in yards per carry at 4.6, and there it is, 3.3, which won't get it done.
It's just amazing. And now they have their lead back, Ahmad Bradshaw, out with rules violation. Tom Coughlin, he only knows one way to do it, doesn't he? I mean, you break a rule, you're not going to play, even though it is sort of the elimination game for the Giants.
Very consistent through the years, both at Jacksonville and with the Giants. Eli escaping and throws, and along the sideline intended for Nicks, and Hakeem Nicks is able to make the grab, which would be his 4th reception already in this quarter, covered by Newman. First down.
Well, first of all, Hakeem Nicks with a tremendous move on the outside, but Eli Manning's the one that really sets it up, gets pressure from the inside, and now Terrence Newman is expecting Eli to be throwing from the pocket, but when he's outside, it is the angle of this throw as much as anything that really beats Terrence Newman.
First down, waning seconds of the quarter. Jacobs to the outside again he goes, and grabbing him by the back of the shirt was Lee to stop him. And that's going to take us to the end of the first quarter here at Cowboys Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Control of the NFC East at stake in this one. End of 1. It is Dallas 7 and the New York Giants 5. And Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Second quarter, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Giants, Cowboys, Sean Lee got Jacobs by the shirt. Good year for him. 2nd year linebacker out of Penn State. We begin the second quarter with the 2nd and 6 at the Dallas 23-yard line. Still no Bradshaw. With where the back and the pass is thrown, and with very tight coverage, it is caught by Travis Beckham. Good catch. Beckham draped by Gerald Sensabaugh, still able to make the play.
You know, Gerald Sensabaugh was sort of bluffing a blitz and then running out late, and Beckham sort of turned him around here, got through to the inside, and Eli saw it, got out of his hands quickly. And one of the things Eli wanted to do tonight was not sit and hold the ball. He wants to try and help protect this left side of his offensive line.
Jacobs back in with the fullback Hynoski on first down. Toss to Jacobs. And Jacobs gets inside the 10-yard line. Terrence Newman up from the corner to make the tackle, gain of 3, 2nd and 7.
Yeah, Eli didn't look too enthused to be blocking DeMarcus Ware on the backside of that play on that one. He sort of wheeled around and did the pitch, and nobody was going to block Ware. And Eli saw him. He goes, oh, I got to protect my guy. Oh, he'll be all right. Don't worry about it. That's not bad. That's a good quarterback block.
Chipped him.
Semi-chip.
2nd and 7 from the 9. Jacobs, and that's a great stop by Spencer. Comes up, is able to wrap him up and take him down after a very short gain. 3rd down and 6.
Bear Pasco, a swing and a miss on that one. He didn't even get close to Anthony Spencer. Coming across with the motion, and watch this. Bear Pasco dipped his shoulder, and Anthony Spencer dipped into Brandon Jacobs.
Third and 7.
One of those where you're probably going to get single coverage on Mario Manningham, double across the board everywhere else. Are you willing to go to your 3rd guy?
Manningham covered by Newman to the right. Eli not even looking there, looking left all the way, and throws that one with a flag down out of bounds. Intended for Jake Ballard, and down on the ground is Mike Jenkins. So Jenkins shaking up. Here's Scott Green.
Interference, defense, number 21. Ball will be spotted on the 1-yard line. 1st down.
Insult to injury. Flag on him. 1st and goal, and he's hurt.
Jenkins on the outside. I really didn't see anything. I think it was really on the inside. It looked like Gerald Sensabaugh held going across the field. Watch Victor Cruz coming inside, but right up here, let's see if this was.
Yeah, I don't know what that is because of and topped off by, I don't even think it was a catchable ball. But it's 1st and goal, and Ryan is furious. To clear it up, Scott Green announced the penalty on Jenkins. The penalty was on Sensabaugh. You can see this. Jenkins made no contact with anybody, and here it is. And the question also with Ballard is, can he make the catch? Is this ball catchable to begin with?
Well, not if he's holding him. That used to always be my line to the official. What do you mean uncatchable? I'd have caught it if he didn't hold me.
Well, during the break there with Jenkins being assisted off the field, Ryan and Garrett both pleading their case with the officials. Giants go with a 3 tight end set. They give the ball to Jacobs, and he will waltz into the end zone for a touchdown. $80 yards, 10 plays, and Brandon Jacobs caps it off on a 1st and goal, 55th career rushing touchdown, tying Tiki Barber for the most in the history of the New York Giants.
I'll tell you, we saw Brandon Jacobs last week in that game against the Packers start to build a little momentum, and he is running hard here tonight as well.
6 rushes, 4 passes on that 10-play drive. The extra point by Tynes is good. And a couple of minutes into the 2nd quarter, the New York Giants have retaken the lead over the Dallas Cowboys 12-7.
Tough block here by Chris Nee, but he gets it done. Good quickness off the ball. Able to turn Jay Ratliff just enough for the walk-in touchdown. I'll tell you what, Brandon Jacobs has picked it up, though, with Ahmad Bradshaw knocked out, his good friend, by his head coach, Tom Coughlin. Jacobs says, fine with me. I get a few more carries out of this mix. But really, we have seen numbers that the best that the Giants are running the football is really when Ahmad Bradshaw and Brandon Jacobs are both in the game. And when one of them misses, those numbers fall off dramatically.
Allows them to have some balance, and there's Bradshaw still on the bench because of disciplinary reasons, and Michelle indicating from sources close to the team it had to do with a curfew violation, and there he is, at least able to share and exult with Jacobs after Jacobs takes it into the end zone.
Now we asked Sean Lee, the linebacker for the Cowboys, if you could take one of those 2 guys off the field, who would it be? And he said Ahmad Bradshaw, and Tom Coughlin obliged.
Yeah, right. Ogletree is back to run the kickoff back, but he won't from 9 yards deep. Among the active quarterbacks in the league, fewest passes to 20,000 career yards, Roethlisberger throwing 2490, and then Romo with Rivers third. So Tony going to the 20,000 mark. He's been a starter here since '06. Took over in a game against the Giants on a Monday night. Drew Bledsoe had a bad first half. In came Romo, started the next week at Carolina on a Sunday night game, and he's been the guy since. Here's Jones. Jones to the 25. And you know, you look at Romo, and we've talked about it in the past, Chris. I mean, the Cowboys have such a great quarterback tradition, of course, with Roger Staubach and Troy Aikman. And you get down to guys like Danny White and all that. The legacy of Romo still to be determined, and a lot's going to depend on whether or not they ever have the Lombardi Trophy march through the parking lot here.
In this building, you bet. This is a guy in Tony Romo, 19-2 during the month of November, just a 7-11 record in December, and that's got to change. You know, there's just no way around it. You get in games like this, wearing the Dallas Cowboys uniform, you have to win here.
2nd down and 5. Swing to the outside. Jones stopped a couple of yards shy. 3rd and 2. Here's Michelle.
Well, an update on DeMarco Murray. He's getting x-rays on his right ankle. He's questionable. Mike Jenkins went off. He is getting x-rays on the right shoulder. We don't have word on his status. And Justin Tuck went to the locker room to have an examination on his toe. He is probable. Jenkins, I can tell you, was taken to the locker room with a trainer responsible for holding his arm suspended, cradling that right arm. Again, getting x-rays on that shoulder.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Well, you mentioned at the top, the Cowboys as healthy as they've been, then all of a sudden you lose Murray and you lose Jenkins. Whole other story right now. 3rd down and 2. Inside handoff, and Jones is going to get the 1st down and plenty more up to the 39-yard line off of 3rd down and 2. Following Kozar, the pulling right guard 1st down.
Well, Jason Pierre-Paul, very much a feared pass rusher, but this time it's John Phillips against the run, making that block. So remember, you're taking Justin Tuck out of the game now on the other side, so I would expect the Cowboys to give more and more help over here to this side with Jason Pierre-Paul. That injury is certainly going to help them.
Tony floats one, and that is caught. And this is Tony Fiammetta, the fullback, making the catch, and that should be enough for a 1st down at midfield.
One thing we know about the New York Giants is that they have shuffled their linebacker core, it seems like 1,000 different ways. Last week we even saw him play Dave Tollefson, one of the defensive ends at linebacker, for a little while. They have essentially brought Chase Blackburn off the street. He's back in there calling plays at the middle linebacker position. So if the Cowboys can get time, they should be able to work effectively against those linebackers.
Jones again. And Felix finally tackled by Aaron Ross after he gains 11 yards. Another Dallas 1st down.
It's a really good job by Phil Costa this time, coming off and being patient with this block. Not going to Blackburn, but waiting for him to come back. They knew it was a design cutback by Felix Jones. And Felix Jones, with those fresh legs, now getting it done. Missed 4 games with a high ankle sprain. Had just 11 carries in his last 3 games.
1st down with 9:40 to go in the half. Draw, Jones. Well, he knows he's got to get it done. He's the only running back, with Murray back in the locker room. Gain of 6, 2nd down and 4.
Well, we first saw some of this stuff with Brett Favre back in the day, and Tony Romo is about as good at it as Brett is. Watch it fake the little quick screen out there, his eyes that way, and then come back with the draw. Cowboys been one of the best draw teams in the league this season.
2nd and 4. Jones slips a tackle in the backfield, works his way inside the 30-yard line, and that's a 1st down.
Now, there's no question that I think this Cowboys offense a little different with Tony Fiammetta in there at the fullback position. Simplifying things. He's made good blocks at the point of attack tonight and just keeps springing Felix Jones here, who you wonder what his conditioning must be like. For a running back, sometimes it's hard if you haven't played a lot and all of a sudden you're out there carrying it 20, 25 times. We'll keep our eye on him as the game goes along.
Felix, the #1 draft choice of the Cowboys in 08, number 22 in the draft overall. Left play action to the outside, and that's the first catch of the night for Jason Witten, 9th year at the University of Tennessee, solid and steady. And you think about Jay Novacek with Troy Aikman through the years, and Jason Witten. Well, I tell you what, by the time he's done, if he can stay healthy, he might chase down Tony Gonzalez for most catches by a tight end.
Boy, this really has been the year of the tight end in the National Football League. We see big guys like Jason Witten able to, yes, come down and block like this, but also flank out and make plays. 5 tight ends are leading their team in receiving this year, something really unheard of.
2nd and 7. Jones, boy, that's some great move by Jones. Finally, Roll knocks him out of bounds. A little jitterbugging stutter step, and Tom Coughlin can only shake his head.
Again, really trusting his fullback coming back here, reading his block of Fiammetta, and then making the jump cut inside. They're really trying to come after Jason Pierre-Paul in the run game. And there's Miles Austin back on the outside, slugging away. Look at that jump step inside by Felix Jones. He looks great tonight.
Just earned a spot on Dancing with the Stars. Ball at the 14. He's carried 7 times for 76 yards and caught a pass. Give it to the fullback as a change of pace, and this is Fiammetta going nowhere. The 2nd down and 10. The Giants allowing 10 touchdowns on the last 12 opponents' drives inside the 20-yard line. Terrible.
Yeah, but I'll remind you who they played here lately. You know, you take on the Saints and the Packers, and nobody's going to mail the stats home to mama.
2nd and 10. Des Bryant splits to the left. Bryant without a catch so far tonight. Had 8 grabs last week in Arizona. And Romo has that one batted down by Canty, and a flag is down. Flag down to the secondary at the 5-yard line.
Illegal contact, defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Jaquan Williams, the rookie out of South Florida, first down.
The hardest thing in the world for a rookie linebacker is to not hit somebody. In college, you can do this all day long. But after 5 yards in the NFL, you can't make contact. And it's just a natural thing for a linebacker with a tight end running by him. But because of some injuries, again, some guys, rookies like Jaquan Williams and Tyler Sash in the secondary, they've got to play.
First down and goal. The ball is at the 8. Romo rolling right, throwing, caught, touchdown. LaRon Robinson. And that's Robinson's first catch of the game.
Well, again, you end up with a guy who is essentially your 4th wide receiver now out there. But what a job LaRon Robinson has done for the Dallas Cowboys this year. With all the injuries at the wide receiver position, they simply had to have somebody step up. And here's a guy that basically, because Norv Turner during a scrimmage said, I'm going to have to cut a very good wide receiver at some point, the Dallas Cowboys started paying attention. They saw that it was going to be LaRon Robinson. He comes over late and has had a huge impact this year.
Former Falcon, former Ram, could have been a Charger. Extra point is good. Back-to-back 80-yard drives for the Cowboys, in between an 80-yard drive for the Giants. Back and forth we go. Dallas with the lead again. Sherry's wife Jean Jones responsible for a lot of the artwork that adorns this unbelievable stadium in Arlington. Next up, a series called Truisms by conceptual artist Jenny Holzer. See it on message boards and jumbotrons, sides of iconic buildings around the country with collection of contemporary art pieces. And you know, we watched the Joneses through the years dream about this stadium, design this stadium. And how would you like to design a house and furnish a house for 100,000 guests? But that's what they've done. Darrell Scott downs it in the end zone. And the Giants will take over at the 20-yard line. What an endeavor. Pretty good ball game, too.
The Cowboys leading tackler by 39 tackles right there.
Sean Lee, Penn State.
Pretty incredibly, Rob Ryan telling us the other day that the two most dedicated defensive players he's ever been around, Teddy Bruschi and second-year man Sean Lee. Brady James has been the leading tackler for the Cowboys for the past 6 years, but this season, this guy has really made a name for himself. Really big plays, big interceptions, and all over the football.
And playing despite a wrist that he contacted with Mike Vick's helmet at the end of October. And Manning throws, and that'll be caught by Victor Cruz out of the 36-yard line. Cruz having a big year, but for him tonight, that's catch number 1.
It's a really interesting thing to see. Right here is Sean Lee, and because Brandon Jacobs has to come up and block him, that means David Deal gets no help on the outside that time against Anthony Spencer. It's an interesting strategy because it creates some one-on-ones for those outside guys. We'll keep an eye on that tonight, but DeMarcus Ware may get more one-on-ones if they stay with that than he would otherwise.
Orlando Scandrick is in for Jenkins, and then Spencer comes across the line of scrimmage. Each team points to the other side naturally.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty.
Spencer came across first, making it 1st down and 5 at the 41-yard line.
You know, you think so much about defense with these two franchises over the years and the history of watching them. And yet every time these two teams have gotten together lately, especially here in this building, it has been the 30-plus variety for both offenses as they continue to go up and down the field.
The Giants have won both of the meetings here since the stadium opened 2 years ago. Now Jacobs on a draw, big hole, and goes all the way into Giants territory, but a flag down in the offensive backfield.
Holding. Offense, number 62. 10-yard penalty. 1st down.
That said left guard Mitch Petrus, who came to the stadium last week not even knowing if he would dress against Green Bay, and wound up starting the game.
Yeah, really, he had the block made over here, and he just simply held on the tail end of it to ensure the block. Ratliff tried to jump to the inside, so he knew he had the block, but then when he hooked his arm, got caught. Really was unnecessary. He had the position.
1st and 15 from the 31. DJ Ware is the running back. And they set up the screen. Ware, who used to play with the Jets, breaks the tackle and then takes it out to the 36-yard line. It's a gain of 6, and it's 2nd down and 9. Eli in this building. And then he signed the wall in an anteroom in the locker room right there. Eli Manning, first win in the new stadium. They asked him to sign it, and he obliged. 2nd down and 10. And Manning, and that's off the hands of Victor Cruz. Jenkins has now come back into the game. Good news for Dallas there, 3rd and 10.
I bet you Jerry Jones didn't ask him to sign that wall in the locker room.
No.
But for Mike Jenkins, it has been a tough year. He came back last week and played well. And well, you're just down to that time of year, Al, when everybody hurts. Everybody's in pain. I always thought if you could hold some players out until the last month of the season, they looked like they were going 100 miles an hour. You can see almost the way he's dragging that arm, but he's going to give it a go.
And let's see if Eli gives it a go in his direction. On 3rd down and 10, and that is dropped by Cruz. Flag down back at the 38-yard line. Line of scrimmage was the 36. He wants to know whether it's going to be declined.
Holding. Defense, number 57. 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
It's Victor Butler. And that was a 3rd and 10 play. Big penalty.
See if we can see exactly on the outside. Butler working against Jake Ballard and sort of wrap around the shoulder. And on the inside, it was DJ Ware. Watch him hit Anthony Spencer. Wow.
And Spencer leaves the game. Alex Albright, a rookie out of Boston College, replaces him. And there goes Jacobs to the 49-yard line.
Well, I tell you, that was a heck of a block by Henry Hynoski, the fullback, on this one. Watch him come up and make this hit. Not only get the block, but seal him to the inside to give Brandon Jacobs a nice running lane in there.
Took Brady James right out of the play. Ball at the 49-yard line. 3.5 to go in the half. Dallas up by 2. Winner controls its run to the playoffs. And Jacobs will chug his way across midfield and be very close to the first down.
You know, coming into this game, Kevin Gilbride understood that he was going to have protection issues. And his comment to me was, if we can run it, I'm not going to do anything else. He goes, we have to establish that we can run the football to allow our offensive linemen to go forward and get those pass rushers moving a little more laterally instead of just flying up the field to come get Eli.
Again, team discipline, even though Bradshaw has dressed. Apparently, at least he's out for the first half. You would have thought maybe it was the first quarter, but he hasn't played at all tonight.
So far, not needed.
On first down, here goes Jacobs. That's a gain of 2. So far tonight, the Giants have carried the ball a total of 14 times for 55 yards.
Now, it's been so interesting on this offensive line. David Boss had been the center, and that had been going just okay. He came over from San Francisco and didn't really give them exactly what they were hoping for. So Kevin Booth came in. I was talking to Kevin to play the center position before the game. He said, before last year, I'd never played center in my life. Played once last year, a few times this year, and here he is in a big one against the Cowboys.
And Manning throws, and that's caught on the outside by Hynoski. He takes it to the 43-yard line, and that takes us to the 2-minute warning with 1:54 to go to the half. Cowboys by 2. .154 now, 3rd and 4 for the Giants from the Dallas 43-yard line. And Manning deep downfield. Is it incidental contact? And that's what they say with Newman and Mario Manningham coming together. 4th down, no flag.
Well, Eli deciding to go to Manningham, and he is indeed the guy that got the single coverage, and he was there. Would have had a good shot at this ball, but you see Terrence Newman looking back for the ball. Tangled feet, good call, no foul at all. That was a big play in the game, because now the Giants are going to have to punt.
And Des Bryant is back to try to run it back if Weatherford allows him the opportunity. And Bryant's going to call for a fair catch and then let it bounce at the 6-yard line. And then a flag comes in at the end as the Giants down the ball at the 6-yard line. So Bryant lets it go.
Yeah, did Bryant call for a fair catch signal? I think he did, and if he did, you can't block.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 88 blocked after giving a fair catch signal, half the distance to the goal, first down.
Might not have even known the rule. Here he is. You call for a fair catch, you can't block. But he's going to get some action, and it's going to cost him a couple of yards. This past Monday, the Cowboys continuing their tradition of visiting several children's hospitals in the Metroplex area to sign autographs and deliver gifts. Phil Costa has gone back to the locker in the center. Thus, Kevin Kowalski, a rookie free agent out of Toledo who has seen a little bit of action this year, actually came in against the 49ers earlier in the season. He takes over. Tuck comes back for the Giants along the defensive front.
Interesting strategic moment right here. Scoring opportunity for both teams. Both teams have all 3 timeouts.
Juggled snap, but he gets it to Jones, and then Jones loses the ball. And the Giants have it at the 15-yard line, and Deion Grant is still on his feet. Bryant can't make the tackle, and then he's shoved to the ground finally by Robinson. So Jones through the middle, and then Pierre Paul was there and forced it, and a huge turnover.
What a hustle play by Jason Pierre-Paul coming across the formation. You're going to see him at the top of your screen, and those linebackers on a stunt were basically out of position. And Pierre-Paul, as he's done all season long with pure hustle, comes across the play, completely surprises Felix Jones, who never saw him coming from behind. This young man is so incredibly athletic. He can make plays like that all the time. And when you talk to anybody from the Giants, they say the exact same thing. Tip of the iceberg.
Yep.
He is yet to mature as a player, and he still makes incredible plays.
Figures to be a major star in limited action this year. That's already 4 fumbles for Jones. Jacobs with Hynoski in the backfield. Manning going to work on first down and has to get it away because DeMarcus Ware was square in his grill. Second down and goal.
Yeah, and it is not an easy night tonight for David Deal on the outside working against this guy. Probably he's going to end up leading the league in sacks. You know, it's always an interesting battle going on for that number, but he has just been almost unblockable. Remember, Deal was a guard all season. They just moved him out to tackle because of the injury to tackle Will Beatty.
Make it 2nd and 10. The ball is at the 14-yard line. Ware came off. Scandrick now in for Jenkins defensively. Jacobs swinging to the outside. He's done that with great effectiveness tonight. And he bangs into Sensabaugh before being forced out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
Yeah, I think Victor Cruz may have gotten away with a little hold there, or else he has magnets on his hands. Watch to the outside here. You'll see Victor Cruz and Terrence Newman can't get away from him. And finally, Cruz kind of sells it a little bit with that push at the end. There's no question there was some grabbing going on. And Brandon Jacobs took advantage.
Ball at the 8, 3rd and 4. Ware comes back in. And DJ Ware is in for the Giants.
Timeout, Dallas. This is their first charge timeout. It's a 30-second timeout.
Their first. With Jenkins out, Dallas didn't have its right personnel on the field, so they took a defensive timeout. It's 3rd down and 4. Jones on the bench after that fumble, setting the Giants up with an opportunity to go in at the half with the lead, down by 2.
Looks like one-on-one with Manningham again against Terrence Newman at the bottom.
Eli throwing under pressure, and the pass incomplete, intended for Ballard. The Heat put on that time, and it's 4th down and 4. And the Giants will try to take a 1-point lead on a Tynes field goal.
Well, Jake Ballard up here on the top working against Barry Church, and it has been a tough one inside for David Deal tonight. I tell you, that was about as clean a release for DeMarcus Ware, and Eli somehow backed up long enough just to get that ball out of there. But David Deal with a clean miss Sorry about that. That was Victor Butler.
26-yard attempt is good. That's the 4th lead change in 29 minutes of action. 15-14 Giants. A little over $1 billion. That's what it'll get you.
You ever been in a stadium like this before?
No, sir.
Well, me either. I tell people all the time, if you're in Dallas, take a tour of it. You've got to see it to believe it. It is fantastic.
And there's that incredible board. Stretches from 30-yard line to 30-yard line in HD. 9 yards deep. That's down there by Ogletree. 63 ticks to go, and we check with Michelle again.
Well, Al, you had noted that rookie Kevin Kowalski had come in at center. That is because starting center Phil Costa went to the locker room and is now out because of a concussion, Al.
That's a big, big loss. Thank you, Michelle. As Kowalski will have to go the rest of the way.
You know, it's interesting. Ordinarily, you'd say, okay, the Cowboys, it's time to go to work here. They've got a couple of timeouts, but now with that substitution and a rookie free agent in there at center, see how aggressive they are.
Romo to Witten. 6-yard gain. Boley makes the tackle. Of course, the last time Romo saw Boley was planting him on the ground here and fractured his clavicle, and Tony was gone for the year.
I wonder if the Giants have caught up with the fact that the Cowboys have switched centers. I would expect some stunning in there.
2nd down and 4. Romo hanging in the pocket, and then getting free down the sideline is Robinson. And LaRon Robinson, who scored a Dallas touchdown. Romo takes a timeout, has a 1st down, all the way down to the 35-yard line.
Well, that's 1,000% Tony Romo, and the look off of what he does here. This is just a cover 2, and Prince Amukamara does his job, but it was Deion Grant inside that got fooled by this look off, and then Romo got it down the sideline. Let's take a look at his eyes as he pumps down the middle. Shoulder fake, quickly turns to the outside, and for Deion Grant, no chance to get there. And another big play by LaRon Robinson.
Romo now 9 of 11, 101 yards. That's a 40-yard gain here.
Kind of fun when these two teams get together, isn't it?
Always.
I mean, it is just a track meet up and down the field, and more often than not, it comes down to the late 4th quarter.
You get the one when Des Bryant's going to see some action tonight. No catches for him. He's at the bottom of the screen. Romo throwing, and that is incomplete. Intended for Miles Austin. Coming back after missing 4 games. He hasn't seen much action tonight either. He caught one early for 12 yards.
I like the play by Kevin Kowalski that time. We're talking about the center. They're faking the blitz here, but going to come this way. He gets off the first, comes back, picks it up. Nice job. You wonder how many snaps Kevin Kowalski's had at any point in any practice with his first string over the past couple of months. I'm going to guess very few.
Cowboys have 1 timeout. 2nd and 10. Blitz coming. And Romo throws, and that's caught on the outside. Witten tries to get out of bounds and does. Forced out by Michael Boley. And it will be 3rd down and 7. Giants allowing 68 points in the last 2 minutes of either half. So they've had some great comebacks, but they've also had a lot of problems in the last 2 minutes because that's the most points yielded in the NFL at the end of the halves collectively.
Yeah, and right on the brink of field goal position here. They have it now. Cannot take a sack in this situation. And here comes Jason Pierre-Paul at the bottom of your screen.
Free blocks him out of the play, and then the pass is dropped. Witten, the normally sure-handed tight end, and that's going to make it 4th down and 7 and set up the Cowboys for what would be a 5th lead change in the game. Bailey's had a great year, the rookie free agent kicker, but he missed 2 last week, and of course 1 was at the end of the game after Garrett called the timeout. He'd made what probably would have been the game-winning field goal, and then he missed, and it was won by Arizona in overtime. This from 49 yards. And Bailey's kick is good, just inside the left upright. And with 15 seconds, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth we go. 5 lead changes in the game, and Dallas leading 17-15.
Pretty good execution on the one he missed last week. Kind of a high snap, got it down, got it through on this one. But boy, I tell you, when the Dallas Cowboys mess up something at the end of the game, it becomes big news, wasn't it?
Well,
didn't take the timeout at the end, and really, in fairness, Jason Garrett made a mistake. There's no other way to say that. 26 seconds to go in that game against Arizona. They hit one down to about the 30-yard line. Doesn't call the timeout. It was his responsibility to call the timeout, not Tony Romo's. They hustle it up. They end up eventually snapping the ball and spiking it, but have no choice but to kick the field goal at that point. And then he called the timeout because they were unsettled, and his kicker Bailey ends up missing on the reset.
Well, he was taking a lot of heat in every quarter, and a lot from the media too, because he kept going in the side door and trying to explain it.
Yeah, much better off, I believe, if Jason Garrett had come out and simply said, I made a mistake.
He should have, because he basically said that to the team. And coming out of the end zone was Darrell Scott to the 18-yard line. And how do we know he said that to the team? Well, here was Michelle's interview with DeMarcus Ware.
He came to us in a meeting and said, you know, I made a mistake on this play. And that really sort of gives me the confidence in my coach of saying, hey, you know what, if he did make a bad decision, okay, oh well, he apologized for it or whatever he did, and hey, forget about it and let's keep going.
Not the first coach who's ever done it. I love when everybody came out of the woodwork this week to say, hey, well, you know, he's doing too many things, he's calling plays, blah, blah, blah. Like it hasn't happened to almost everybody. Come on.
Yep.
Yep is right.
He did make a mistake.
And I know
say
it.
That, yeah.
Right. That's the end of the half. It's a good half. 5 lead changes. Dallas leading 17-15. The Giants get the second half kickoff. And on to the second half we go in Arlington, Texas. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, and Michelle Tafoya. Sunday Night Football. The winner of the game controls its path to the playoffs. If Dallas wins, they'd be up by 2. If the Giants win, they'd be tied with Dallas in the standings, would own the tiebreaker for the moment, and these two teams will meet again on the final Sunday of the season. Giants will get the ball. Bailey's kick to start. The second half is fielded at the 1-yard line, and this is Darrell Scott, and he'll bring the ball back up to the 22. A lot to talk about, and to start us off, Michelle again.
Well, I spoke with Tom Coughlin heading into the locker room at halftime, asking him how difficult it was to bench Ahmad Bradshaw in that first half, given they wanted to run the football. And he had one-word response: principles. He said Bradshaw will play here in the second half. However, he is happy with the way his team ran the ball. Where they need to make the adjustment is slowing down Dallas's run, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. They have rushed the ball 16 times for 60 yards. And so here's Bradshaw, who sat out the first half. Came back last week after missing a month. Play fake, and then he'll catch the pass on the outside, and then he'll drag Ware with him for a few more yards. Ware and Spencer finally knock him down, but not until he gains 9 yards. First half numbers here: rushing yards, Cowboys out in front in that area, 7.3. Giants with the passing yardage advantage, and the total yards just about even. Ball to the 30-yard line. It'll be second down and 3. Bradshaw behind Hynoski. And he takes the ball out to the 31-yard line. Bradshaw grew up in West Virginia, enrolled originally at Virginia, had some problems there. Al Gross said goodbye, went to Marshall, came to the Giants in 07. And of course, his big moment as a Giant would be that huge run in Buffalo, next to last game of the season in 07, propelling the Giants into the playoffs. And you know the rest of that story: 4 postseason wins and the Lombardi Trophy. And before a 3rd down and 2, Dallas is going to take A timeout, something you don't want to have to spend a minute and a half into the third quarter.
Hakeem Nicks with a huge first half for the New York Giants. Eyeballs on him in all directions. A lot of man underneath coverage as they tried to sort of bracket him, but here they more or less a broken coverage by the Cowboys down the field. But here's double coverage on him, still able to beat Jenkins. Perfect throw by Eli, but impressive blocking as well, this time working against Terrence Newman on a big run by Brandon Jacobs. He has been in and out of the lineup with some hamstring injuries and such, but in this biggest moment for the Giants this season, he has shown up big.
We think Dallas took the timeout because they had 12 guys on the field, and that would have been an automatic first down on the penalty. And this is Bradshaw, and he'll get stopped. So it was a good timeout as it turned out. I said automatic in the sense that it was 3rd and 2, so it would have been a first down. And instead, they took the timeout, got the right 11 on the field, and stop him.
Here comes Keith Brooking. He's kind of the forgotten man around here these days because of the play of Sean Lee. But come crunch time inside, they still like to have those 2 veterans in there along with Brady James, and made a difference there.
Weatherford to punt. And here is Bryant, who, if he calls for a fair catch, will not be blocking after it. And Bryant pinned at the 18-yard line, and then a good tackle is made up at the 26-yard line by Will Blackman, and we check with Michelle.
Hey, Al, I also spoke with Jason Garrett at halftime. He said DeMarco Murray, the running back who got injured in the first quarter, he's not expected back after injuring his ankle. Meanwhile, rookie Kevin Kowalski playing at center. Well, Garrett tells me he's confident in him. He's played some for them this season. He does get some snaps in practice. He calls him a mature rookie. And as for Giant killer Dez Bryant, he hasn't got a catch tonight. Garrett told me they're playing a lot of cover 2, taking him out of the game, so they just have to find other ways to move the football, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Last year, Bryant scored 4 touchdowns in the 2 games against the Giants in his rookie season. 3 on receptions, 1 on a punt return from the 28. 1st and 10 for the Cowboys. Inside handoff. This is Jones, and Michelle talked about Murray not expected back, so it's all up to Jones right now, the only other active tailback.
Well, let's take a look at how they were covering Dez Bryant there in the first half. And they're really exactly right. Sort of man underneath coverage, and then Corey Webster just running underneath 2 deep safeties, and that's how you end up taking guys away. Now, one of the ways to combat something like that is for your quarterback to take off and run. Wouldn't be surprised to see Tony Romo try and break out a few times in this half.
2nd and a deuce from the 36-yard line. Jones again, and Jones fighting his way for what appears to be a first down.
Really, but for the fumble, and that's a big but for right there. It was an impressive half for Felix Jones. As we continue to see the Dallas Cowboys, really both these teams, they're not taking huge risks. Both of them understood fully the impact that the pass rushers could have in this game. And you think back to the Eagles game for the Dallas Cowboys, when that Eagles defensive line simply took over the game.
Not wide open, but very interesting, almost compelling, and 5 lead changes in the opening half. The 38-yard line on first down. Romo with a deep drop, under pressure, and down he goes at the 34-yard line. Chris Canty, former Cowboy, with the sack.
Well, one of the things that the Giants were hoping for tonight was to get some isolation right there against these guards. Chris Canty, the former Dallas Cowboy, very excited to come back and play against his old team. Comes up with a big sack on that one.
Chris Canty, teammate for a brief spell at Virginia with Ahmad Bradshaw. Talked about Bradshaw getting thrown off the team in his first year, so they really didn't play together. 1st, 2nd, and 14. Get the play off here, and Romo throws. There's a flag that comes in from the secondary, and that is caught by LaRon Robinson. But a flag in the middle of the field coming out of the secondary.
Holding. Defense. Number 31. Penalty is declined. First down.
Penalty decline because the play results in a first down with 10.5 to go in the quarter. The penalty is on Aaron Ross.
Felix Jones impressive as a runner, but also as a blocker here. Picks up the blitz. You can see they're going to try and come in and attack Kevin Kowalski inside. But Romo had the confidence that Felix Jones would get it done and barely got that thing off.
From the 48-yard line. And the end around. Austin trying to get a block, starts to stumble, and it's a gain of a couple of yards behind Kowalski. Gain of 5, 2nd and 5.
Well, Kevin Kowalski at least knows his playbook here because they're going to a few of the gadgets. That time they pulled the center, Kowalski, out and around right here to lead block on this reverse. Everybody blocks down. He gets out there on an athletic linebacker, Michael Boley. Gets it done.
Now it's Jones. He starts to slip as he tries to make a cut. Here, Paul makes the tackle, and that will set up a third down. And let's go at 4.
I'll tell you what, this Jason Pierre-Paul just keeps doing things that flashes greatness. Here he takes on the pulling tight end, bounces off, and still makes the play. Jason Pierre-Paul, a guy that was a basketball player growing up. Basically, his high school coach begged him to come out. He said, "Yeah, coach, sure I will." He had fully intended to go home, and his coach was waiting for him in his car.
Giants picked him in the first round last year out of South Florida. 3rd down and 4. Romo dumps it underneath. Jones, first down to the 37-yard line, and then a flag comes in at the end of the play for a face mask.
It's been a little bit of a rough night for Jaquan Williams.
There is no foul on the play for grabbing the face mask.
All right.
First down.
Night got a little better for him.
Yeah, it did. I could see what the officials saw. Let's see. Yeah, well,
he's inside the helmet.
You know, they don't. The incidental face mask doesn't exist, but usually when you tackle a guy inside the helmet, that does exist.
Well, the reaction from the crowd is because 90,000 of them just saw the replay in Super HD on a 60-yard long screen. 1st and 10 from the 38.
Straight man-to-man coverage if Romo wants it.
There's 5 receivers out. Going for Bryant, and too high, and behind him as well.
On the outside, just working one-on-one against Corey Webster. A great release and had it. And it was Antrell Roll coming across the top. But really, that was one of those plays. Whenever you get that wide open off of your release, you hope that your quarterback's going to zing that thing in there and not allow that safety to come in late. But that time, I'm not sure Romo believed Roll could get there. He started to the far right and sprinted across the field the other way and still got there.
Bryant still without a catch, and Austin has just 1. Giants show blitz all the way here. It's a toss to Jones. Jones able to stay inbounds. Nice run. Well, he's done a nice job tonight. Got in behind Doug Free. Again, Murray got hurt early on. Murray, the number 1 back. Jones seeing spot duty and the run back guy, but it's been Jones tonight who's had to pick up the slack.
One of the problems, you blitz everybody to the inside. It's easy to get outside. A lot of times you'll see quarterbacks check to some kind of a hot screen out to the wide receiver. The quick pitch does the exact same thing. It also discourages that defensive coordinator from calling more blitzes.
99 yards on 12 totes for one Felix Jones. 3rd and 3 now. Romo throwing, and that pass incomplete in front of Robinson. Is that a good night to this point, but Tony a little off the mark here, 4th down.
Yeah, it was the safety, and I think it was Antrell Roll who jumped up right in the way of Robinson, threw him off stride, and that is what caused the pass to be missed. Romo had already started his release at the time you saw Robinson start to jump around, and the timing just wasn't there because of it.
Here's Bailey, who's already made a 49-yarder, and this will be field goal redux for him. And that one is good. A pair of 49-yard field goals, and the Dallas lead is 5, 20-15. Dallas up 20-15 with Bailey kicking off. Scott from 3 yards in. Good coverage. Tackled at the 14-yard line. Carter among those in on the stop. Crowd tonight is 95,952. It's the third largest crowd in the stadium's history. The largest was the first game played here in the regular season Sunday night in '09. Second was 100,000 against Philly in the regular season finale in '09. And this is number 3, 95,000. Looking on. Good game, too. Manning throwing on first down, and the pass is incomplete. Back shoulder to Nix, covered by Scandrick. 2nd and 10.
It's been a very quiet night for some of these other receivers this evening. Victor Cruz just 1 catch for 16 yards, and Mario Manningham yet to make a catch. So it has been Akeem Nix or bust. And right now Eli has to start distributing this football to some of these other guys, because the Cowboys are getting a little brazen on the outside with their man coverage.
Well, the counterpart's the same with Austin and Bryan, and that was tipped, but it is caught by DJ Ware. And DJ Ware is able to catch the deflection and take it out to the 25-yard line.
And I think it was DeMarcus Ware who got his hands on the football. A lot of times, especially when you're trying to throw that quick screen to the outside, you ask your offensive tackles to cut that guy to get his hands down. Eli pretty lucky here to get away with this one. Nice play by Nix.
Eli has had very few passes or deflected or blocked this year, about 1 per 100 throws, so that's unusual to begin with. 3rd and 1, Bradshaw is the running back, and that pass with a flag thrown on the outside, it is Nix hauling it in. Scandrick was all over him. And the penalty will go against, in all likelihood, the Cowboys. Let's take a look again.
It is against Scandrick. Yeah, he didn't have his eyes back to the backfield, back to the passer, and so when he made contact, it's almost an automatic penalty.
Interference, defense, number 32. Penalty is declined. Completed pass. First down.
Well, that was the question. Was the pass completed? And it was, and the yardage netted was better than the penalty.
The receiver always has the right to go back to the ball, and with Scandrick with his eyes just focused on Nix on the outside, he drew the call.
6:40 remaining in the third. Jacobs bulls straight ahead. We're talking about Cruz and the fact that he's been a non-factor tonight, but you go back to his month of December, a guy in his first year with the team, November actually, 1,076 receiving yards, 3rd most in Giants history through the first 12 games of a season. In the month of November, led the league in receptions and receiving yards, and that's something no Giant player has done since December of 1935. Last year made a big splash in preseason, got hurt, and this year he has really emerged. Manning rolling, buying time, throws a wobbly pass that's incomplete. Pressure put on that time by Scandrick on a corner blitz. 3rd down.
Well, here is Victor Cruz on the outside trying to work down the field. And because of the corner blitz that came on the other side, Eli had to bail and just throw that one away. Starting to see Rob Ryan now taking a few more chances. He is dialing it up and going against Kevin Gilbride, and there's a little family feud maybe we'll talk about before this one's up as well.
Oh, wasn't there?
Yeah.
3rd down and 4 from the 37-yard line, and Eli looks over to Scott Green and says, I need a timeout. The Giants first. Third down and 4 after the Giants took a timeout. The ball is at the 37-yard line. And over the middle, it's caught, and that is Cruz. So we're talking about Cruz, and he took a shot from Ball and is slow in getting back up, but picks up the first down.
Yeah, it looked like it was basically a man coverage, and somehow or another Orlando Scandrick kind of got confused on the play. Stays outside, and there's really nobody inside. Abram Elam chasing him across the field. And remember, Elam had to go to his father's funeral this week and missed out on a lot of practice time. There was some concerns about whether they should be playing him or not. But apparently still feel comfortable enough with him in there.
Ahmad Bradshaw, the running back. Look out. Blitz coming from the corner, and the pass is incomplete. That was Elam who came in and forced the issue. 2nd down, and they're basically saying on the Cowboy bench, who's he throwing to? Call it grounding. And now you do have the flag.
Well, because you've got him inside the tackle box, and he's under pressure. If there was no pressure, you could do that.
Quarterback. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Also loss of down. 2nd down.
And you saw Eli point at Abram Elam, who's coming off the edge. You can see he's pointing at him right now. So as long as you're inside those 2 red lines, under pressure, you cannot simply throw the football away.
Nope, gonna have somebody in the area. He didn't. You saw Bradshaw going right, then he tried to come back left. Couldn't stop Elam, and it's 2nd down and 22. But it took the officials about 10 seconds to throw that flag after much encouragement from the Dallas bench.
Well, you always see that side judge coming in, and that's the consultation.
You got 5 receivers here. You got Ware flanked out. And the pass is thrown to the left side and complete to Hakeem Nicks. Nicks getting free, covered by Lee. 1st down, or make it 3rd down and 4 on a gain of 18. 3rd and 4.
Well, a lot of different things going on here, but Eli Manning with another great play. Marcus Ware on the end of the line of scrimmage goes right by Deal, but because of what they had on the outside, the corner tried to jump the little hot read, and so instead of blocking, the inside guy just keeps right on going. There's Nicks. He doesn't block. He keeps on going. Eli sees it and hits a big one.
Little crisscross, make it 3rd down and 5. The ball is at the 47-yard line. Cowboys come. Blitz is on, and free is Manningham, and he will walk into the end zone to give the Giants the lead. A flag is down. A flag's down back at the 3-yard line, all the way down to the 3. But you had the all-out blitz, jailbreak blitz, and a 47-yard touchdown. And you might have had a late hit here on Victor Cruz.
After the play, personal foul, number 80. Touchdown is good. That penalty will be assessed on the kickoff.
Called on Cruz, but the touchdown counts, and the Giants have the lead again.
Just a completely blown coverage. Barry Church comes down, but he was the 2nd guy on a 2-receiver side. Nobody else on that side of the field. And then you'll see the late hit at the end of the stand. There's no way. Down the field, and then you're going to get a hustle attempt, guy in the end zone, and still going to make the block coming across late. Absolutely no reason, and you're going to give up field position on the kickoff.
Tynes for the extra point. That's Manningham's first catch of the night. 6 lead changes here, and the Giants on top 22-20. Let's look at a defensive coordinator after a totally blown coverage.
Late substitution that time by the Giants got them off balance, and actually you go back to the losing play for the Cowboys last week against the Arizona Cardinals. It was a mix-up as far as personnel on the field that cost them that touchdown to end that game.
because of the penalty. The kickoff now will be returned from the 5-yard line by Kevin Ogletree. And he brings it back out to the 31-yard line, and back we go to the walk-in touchdown.
Late substitution by the Giants, getting receivers on. The Cowboys try and match personnel, completely unsettled as they go. And what ends up happening is you get the corner blitzing and the safety blitzing and nobody covering the wide receiver. So as the late personnel change happened, the Cowboys matched it, but then messed up the coverage.
And the Cowboys now down again by 2. Start from the 31-yard line. Of course, you were talking about the fact that Ryan was getting more aggressive and gambling more as the game was moving on, and that time it burns him.
Can't help it. It's in his genes.
Yeah. Caught by Jones to the 37. Again, DeMarco Murray, and the word too now is that it is a fractured right ankle. He came out. He was tackled in the first quarter. So it's Jones, and it's going to be Jones probably for the rest of the season, we would assume, with a fractured right ankle.
You know, it's so difficult. It's so much fun to draw up all the blitzes, and Rob Ryan uses every defender on his roster in different packages, but it's also very easy to get it screwed up.
2nd and 4, and the pass is incomplete, but a flag is thrown because Bryant was being pressured by Webster. Webster's going to plead his case to no avail.
Yeah, same sort of play we saw on the other side. When the defender has his back to the quarterback, you're not going to get much benefit of the doubt, and that time Corey Webster was trying to time it out perfectly.
Interference, defense. Ball will be spotted at the spot of the foul. First down.
Again, Webster with his back turned to the quarterback. He knows it's coming, makes contact a little bit early. One of those bang bang kind of plays that goes against Corey Webster that time.
Dallas at the 45-yard line.
Time for it. Show State. 180. Where's the hut? 180. Where's
Rushing 4. Pass over the middle. Good coverage there by the linebacker Foley on Jones.
I think one of the most improved players I've seen in the National Football League this year is Tyron Smith, number 77. Just playing a little basketball in front of Justin Tuck here as he moves his feet. One of the most athletic guys we saw coming out of the draft last season, and a guy that has simply opening day when we were watching him, you were kind of giggling a little bit because he couldn't get it done. But now not only the athleticism, but the physical nature of his play in this one has really impressed me.
Jones, short game. Smith, youngest player in the league. Tomorrow, he's legal, 21.
There you go. But all that work with Hudson Houck after practice has really paid off for him. You know, that little slide shuffle step that you see tackles having to do, it looks simple when the great ones are doing it, but it takes a lot of work. And he really, coming out of college, was not very good at it at all.
And now the Cowboys are going to get flagged for 12 men in the huddle, at least with Jones late in getting off the field. Now Green wants to check with the umpire.
There is no foul. They were not huddled up, so they cannot have 12 men. They can still get a man off the field. Third down.
Well, he had to have the umpire come in and clarify because Green was the guy who threw the flag, and Romo went over and said, "What are you doing?"
Yeah, it's a weird kind of rule, but you can't be in the huddle with 12 guys for exactly the reason that we saw when the touchdown was given up a few minutes ago. They don't want to have to try and match substitutions late.
Too many men on the ice. Third down and 4, the 49. Oh. And you're going to get a false start against Dallas.
False start. Offense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
The rookie Kowalski.
Well, you heard all the double counts that time by Tony Romo, and he's trying to get the Giants to show whether they're blitzing or not. So he goes hard count here, and for Kowalski, it was too hard for him.
Enough of a flinch to get the Giants to come across the line. 3rd and 9.
I got him.
2 minutes left in the 3rd. Romo's going to get sacked at the 42-yard line. Jason Pierre-Paul.
He's just too much. You know, you've got to chip him. You know, the Cowboys just have to make the adjustment. There's no way around it. You're going to block him one-on-one with anybody. You just haven't seen it done all year. You watch him on tape enough, and he's like an octopus coming at you. Arms and legs, you think he's got 8 different arms flailing at you. Just quick moves, a dynamic player.
2 sacks tonight and 12.5 on the season for JPP. Kick fielded by Blackman. And he's brought down up at the 20-yard line with 1.5 minutes to play. Here comes DeMarcus Ware. Pretty amazing when you think about it. 15 of the 35 sacks for the team, but he does it basically on the road. Michael Strahan had 16.5 in his record-setting year through 12 games. So he has a shot at that. And oddly, in this stadium, 3 sacks, on the road, 12.
He's on his way to the Hall of Fame, in my opinion. He's been the dominant player, the dominant pass rusher now for the better part of the last 6 years. It was just fantastic. Now they're going to flip him over to work against McKenzie some.
Out of Troy University in Alabama, 1st round pick in 05 was Ware. 1st and 10. Pass caught on the outside by Jake Ballard.
Yeah, DeMarcus Ware saw plenty of attention. The minute he goes over to the other side, they put Jake Ballard in motion that way and leave the back in there to chip as well. So he gets the tight end if he comes outside. He gets Ahmad Bradshaw if he comes inside. You don't get that kind of reputation and that kind of attention unless you're the best.
Bradshaw behind Hynoski in this set, 2nd down and 5. Ahmad Bradshaw. And Bradshaw, for a 1st down, takes the ball out to the 33-yard line.
Well, right now, the Dallas Cowboys are dialing up a lot of blitzes, and it's killing them. Keep coming inside. They get it sealed off inside. And Ahmad Bradshaw, with those quick jump steps, bounces it back to the outside. I know for Rob Ryan, yeah, there's Brandon Jacobs. That's my guy. I got the 1st half. You handle the 2nd half out here.
From the 33, the Giants 75 rushing yards tonight. 20 carries. 1st and 10 off his back foot. Manning throws and throws it away into the Giants bench. It'll be 2nd and 10.
The one thing, though, that we haven't seen the Cowboys have a lot of success with so far tonight is getting that interior pressure. Occasionally they've gotten it, but when you have the great outside pass rushers, you're really hoping that those guys inside can push the guards in the center backwards and force Eli to do what he had to do there, which is back up and throw the ball away.
Well, Eli's saying, playing the Cowboys, he says it always comes down to blocking Ware and Spencer. 2nd and 10. To the fullback, Hynoski gets free and gets undercut by Skandrick, about 4 yards short of a 1st down, and is slow in getting up is the fullback.
Tell you, the one guy that's had a pretty good game tonight and watching has been Terrence Newman of the Cowboys. He dropped that big interception, could have been a pick 6 to start the game, but he's been asked to cover a lot of man-to-man alone on the outside, and at least thus far he's held up pretty well.
There he is on Cruz, 3rd down and 2. But Pascal in is the fullback now, with Hynoski limping off the field. And that will take us to the end of the 3rd quarter. Good ball game. 6 lead changes. End of 3. The Giants 22. The Cowboys 20. And Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Start the 4th quarter. in the battle for control of the NFC East. Upper hand held by the winner of this game. 3rd and 2 for the Giants from their own 41-yard line.
Look out.
Oh, and Bradshaw gets decked by Ratliff.
Well,
big play to start the 4th quarter.
Jay Ratliff just too quick for Kevin Booth on that one. Goes right around him and meets Ahmad Bradshaw about the same time he got the handoff. We've been waiting on Ratliff to step up and make a big play against the backup center Booth, and he picked a good time for it.
Yeah, Ratliff went off favoring his shoulder after that tackle, forcing the Giants to punt, and Weatherford just does get it away. And then Bryant's going to let it roll. And can the Giants save it from going into the end zone?
His leg touched
yeah. Right. If any part of your body is on the goal line or in the end zone and you touch the ball, it is, as Devin Thomas gets down there, that close to pinning him at the 1, but instead it is
right there.
Yeah, momentum taking him in.
It's interesting now. Was his hand still on the ball when that knee touched the ground? This was pretty close.
Well,
you see what I mean? He
right.
kind of releases that thing.
It's a challengeable play.
Let's take a look.
If Coughlin wants to throw the challenge
there,
flag
yeah,
here.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he did slide in.
He did. And Tom, who's normally pretty good at challenges, but he's lost his last 6, does not throw the flag because he gets the word from upstairs. From the 20-yard line, the Cowboys now.
Yeah, the Giants showed blitz. Romo got him with the snap count. They showed their blitz. Let's see if he can get them now.
Tony stepping up, scrambling, and then just throws it away. Jones in the area. Let's set the importance of this game right now. Again, in the NFC East, it's pretty much a 2-team battle at the moment, with Dallas at 7-5. The Giants are 6-6. This is a very important game, as we said at the top, for both teams, particularly for the Giants, because Dallas would take a 2-game lead. They would have won the one head-to-head battle. They still meet on January the 1st, but the Giants would control their own path to the playoffs with a win. They'd be tied, and the Giants would have, at the moment, the tiebreaker by virtue of a win tonight.
And the only difference in this game so far, the safety by Jason Pierre-Paul.
2nd down and 10. And a fumble snap by Romo, but a flag is thrown.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Again, going with that rookie center, Kevin Kowalski. Giants, Cowboys. The winner's going to feel, I mean, if the Giants lose tonight, that's 5 consecutive losses in 2 games back. And I don't think the loser of the game is going to get a wild card, but who knows?
Yeah, it was interesting talking to Eli about this game, and he said, you know, you can't go in all nervous and tight. So all week long, I've been cracking jokes and trying to get the guys to just lighten up a little bit, try and get over all these losses.
Now Romo flips one to Jones, and Jones with a nice move there, but gets tackled up at the 20-yard line. And that's going to send it back to a 3rd down and 10.
I'm not sure there's another quarterback in the league that gets this throw off. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Bad snap on a play in which Romo's supposed to fake to his right and screen to his left. Just the quickness of his footwork. Tony Romo plays soccer in the offseason. He plays basketball. He's a big athlete. We know about his golf ability, but you could see the quickness of foot that time getting that one off.
3rd and 10 again. Their regular center Costa was hurt. So the free agent rookie out of Toledo does the snapping. It's 3rd down and 10. And they buy time for Romo, and Romo's going to go deep for Robinson. He gets free. Chased down by Amukamara. It'll be 1st and goal. LaRon Robinson cutting across the field, and what a pickup this guy has been.
Well, you start with the protection up front. You've got to control Jason Pierre-Paul. There's Phillips with a chip. Doug Free hanging in there. Tony Romo buying time. Prince Amukamara in that quarters coverage on the outside as the inside receiver went out. Amukamara had to try and stay with. LaRon Robinson could not. But this was all about Tony Romo and buying time and keeping his eyes down the field and the job that Doug Free did in protection.
Like Roethlisberger, great at extending the play. That's a 74-yard gain. The ball is at the 6. Rolling right, throwing, caught. Austin, touchdown.
Not a lot to this one, just going to be a quick out to the outside. And Romo rolling that way, able to sneak it into Austin. And it's taken a while for Austin to be a factor in this game, but in the clutch, you know where Romo likes to go.
Checking it out upstairs. Green says it's confirmed. Dallas trying to go up by 5 again. Bailey for the extra point. And that is 3 80-yard drives for the Cowboys tonight against that Giant defense. 27-22 Dallas. I know we've had 7 lead changes tonight. That's what I know. And the kickoff will result in a touchback. Back to the TV we go.
Well, LaRon Robinson, as he's done all night long with the big play from Tony Romo, but it was Tony's ability to just buy the time. Anytime you see something this far down the field, you know it's going to take a while. But I loved how Romo led Robinson across the field when there was no safety there. Comes right back with the touchdown to Austin on the outside. And his wife Candace enjoyed every single moment of it. Expecting their first child in April. Congratulations to both.
Yeah, Tony got married over the summer. Candace, an example of over 95,000 at Cowboys Stadium. Looking on a good one tonight as Brandon Jacobs picks up 7. 2nd and 3. Eli Manning in the 4th quarter, 5 game-winning drives. That ties for the most in the league. His passer rating is great, best in the league. 13 touchdown passes. That's the best. And you go back, most TD passes 4th quarter, Johnny Unitas and Peyton Manning, the record. Johnny did it in a 12-game season. Peyton, of course, in a 16-game season back in 2002. So that should be his by the end of the year. 2nd down and 3.
Dallas back with the lead. Let's see if Rob Ryan stays with the blitz.
Toss to Bradshaw. And he does it himself there because it was all clogged up over the right side. Brady James makes the tackle, but Ahmad keeps churning and picks up the 1st down.
I'll tell you what's amazing about Ahmad Bradshaw. 2 screws in each foot after surgery. Scopes on both ankles, basically orthotics in there. He can only run or even walk on the outside of his feet, but he is simply all in, and I'm sure he is fired up after having to sit out the first half of this one.
First down, that pass is caught. Cruz picks up 6.
Well, Steve Smith for so long had been the slot guy here for the New York Giants, and it is a pivotal position. I think he was over 100 catches before he got hurt, and eventually the Giants let him go, lands in Philadelphia. But the way that this young man has picked up this offense in a very, very detailed slot receiver position has just made all the difference in the world for Eli Manning.
Jacobs over the right side, exploits that hole and carries the Cowboys with him, 4 of them to the 44-yard line. 1st down, New York. Gain of 19 yards for Jacobs.
Nice job by Eli not buying the fact that they were coming with the blitz here. You've got Elam here who's going to run out of this thing. Initially, there's no way Eli was going to run that play that way. But he studied so much film, I think he understood they were overloaded there. Elam was going to run out. He stayed with the run that side. That's just brilliant quarterback play.
And good tough running by Jacobs, who's averaging almost 6 yards a carry tonight from the 44. Jacobs again cuts it back to the right side. And that's a nice tackle made by Elam after he picks up 5.
You know, everybody talks about playing against Brandon Jacobs, and it's always, you know, everybody comes out in the first quarter and boy, they're trying to really hit him, and in the second quarter they're a little bit less. In the third quarter they're trying to arm tackle him. By the fourth quarter, a lot of times they've seen enough. So if they can keep hammering this guy late in the game, usually it is pretty effective.
Triple figures, hits 100 yards. Now you got Bradshaw back in. 2nd down and 4. Bradshaw tries to get around the left side and gets taken down by Sensabaugh, setting up a big 3rd and 3.
We saw DeMarcus Ware going off the field, and we think holding his shoulder. Remember, he had the stinger last week and may have just gotten it again. He goes off immediately, and believe me, that is going to be a huge factor again. Let's see how quickly the Giants can pick up on that.
Able to stay in against Arizona, but missed some practice time this week.
Changes all your protection schemes if he's not in there.
Victor Butler takes his spot. Butler 57. Comes from the outside, but they take care of him, and Manning launches one into double coverage, and it's batted away. Intended for Manningham, and that Jenkins, who's been banged up all night and all year, in fact, who is slow in getting up, and he does create the 4th down.
Well, you just have to admire Mike Jenkins and what he's doing. He's hurt, and you can just tell the way he's playing here. Abram Elam ends up running back underneath, but then Jenkins just lands hard on like his knee, and I mean, everybody, they're so deep in the roster right now, both these teams. It is just a battle.
Interesting call by Coughlin here, 4th and 3, and they're going to go for it at the 37-yard line. And Manning on a 4th down is able to convert as the catch is made at the 22-yard line by Manningham.
Well, we've been talking about it all night. The guy that they've put in the one-on-one situations has been Terrence Newman. Mario Manningham is the 3rd receiver, basically the 3rd threat on this Giants team. So they're hoping that Newman can handle him one-on-one. That time Manningham won the battle.
And if the Giants win, you'll look back at that as the key play. 15 yards on a 4th and 3. Almost halfway through the 4th. Snap it with 2 on the play clock. Pass too high, incomplete. Intended for Nix.
And Eli's saying that's my fault, but really as a wide receiver, that's a play you expect to make. Eli not happy with himself. Coughlin trying to encourage him. Tough play, you know, when you're running a slant, if you got to go up high, there's a chance you're going to take one right underneath the chin. But this is really a ball that should have been caught.
Nix has been the #1 target tonight. He's caught 6 for 130 yards. 2nd down and 10. Draw. To the 21-yard line goes Bradshaw. So again, at this point in the game, with the score what it is, and Ryan, the defensive coordinator, every 3rd down is big. 3rd and 9.
Boy, and I'm telling you, every down is a different stunt out of Rob Ryan. I mean, they're going in so many different directions. Probably a lot to do with the fact that the Giants have such a young and shuffled up offensive line, but it's been interesting to watch.
And 3rd and 9, and that is in a lot of traffic and picked off by Lee. Sean Lee is able to pick it off. Still in bounds. They're not going to say he stepped out of bounds and takes the ball to midfield. Deflected by Victor Butler. And isn't that something? Ware is out of the game. Butler replaces him. Butler with the tip. Lee with the pick. And Dallas gets the ball on the turnover.
You can't believe what a play that is by Sean Lee.
Pretty good by Butler, too. Sean Lee, a 4th pick. That's the most among the linebackers in the league. Couldn't have come at a better time for the Dallas Cowboys. Giants driving. Dallas up by 5. They get the ball. He runs it back to the 49, and he was able to stay in bounds. He skirted the sideline. Looked like he might have been out around the 32, but he wasn't. Jones takes the handoff. And the Cowboys, of course, would like to use as much clock as they can. And we go back to the interception tipped by Butler.
Well, and what makes this remarkable is he's had that wrist injury with that huge cast on his hand. They've reduced it down to more of a sort of a brace, which allowed him to make that catch. If he had that big cast that he was been wearing in the past, no way he makes that play. And then looks like that foot is in bounds and picks up another 10-15 yards. There it is. That's the reduced version of what he was wearing, which was just that big ball cast that he had in the past few weeks.
2nd and 11. Romo extending the play, and wide open is Des Bryant. Touchdown. And the Giants just look around. Roll looks back at Webster as if to say, what happened? 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah. Antrell rolls up, and Corey Webster is going to sit right here. You're going to see Roll come up, and when he picks up this crossing route, Webster thinks that he's just in a zone, and Roll is barbecued. This is professional football, and we have seen some very amateurish coverage out here tonight.
On both sides. You had Manningham with a walk-in. You got Bryant with a walk-in. That's Bryant's first catch of the night. It comes 54 minutes into the game and gives Dallas a 12-point lead. So the Giant defense shredded the last couple of weeks, and 34 tonight. The kickoff goes through the end zone. And the Giants down by 12. Biggest margin of the game, and embraced by Stephen and Jerry Jones and Jerry Jr. and Jason Garrett exults too. Manning throws incomplete on first down. 2nd and 10, 5.5 to go in the 4th.
You know, it's really interesting that the New York Giants offensive line yet to give up a sack, and they've rushed for 110 yards. If you'd have told me that before the game, I'd have felt pretty good about the Giants' chances. Big question marks about this offensive line, but they've actually hung in there pretty well tonight.
One thing that's happened to Manning tonight that hasn't happened with any frequency this year is getting passes deflected at the line of scrimmage as he takes the shotgun snap on 2nd down and then throws, and that's caught. Gain of 11 to Cruz. Manning coming into the game had only 3 passes deflected or blocked all year out of 442. That's 1 out of every 148 passes. Tonight 2 in his 38 throws, and that last one was huge.
Here goes Eli in the 4th quarter. He's got to do it big now.
From the 31, stepping away from Butler, throwing, and it's caught. Gain of 9 next, and again Butler taking the place of Ware, who's still on the bench for Dallas, but that's, we think, a stinger.
Number 5 of the Giants' 6 wins this year have been 4th quarter comebacks led by Eli.
2nd down and 1. Blitz coming from Elam, and Elam overruns Bradshaw, but right there to wipe him out as he crosses the line of scrimmage is Listmore, number 95, setting up a 3rd down.
Yeah, and Rob Ryan's going to continue to dial up the blitzes. That time bringing a safety blitz, runs it in behind the fullback and the pulling guard, and makes the play and sets up an opportunity now.
3rd down and 1 from the 40. Blitz again. Backing away, throwing, it floats, and it is caught. It is Victor Cruz on the right sideline, making the grab at the 37-yard line.
First of all, you got man coverage, but I don't even know if you can see him back here. The safety is about 35 yards deep, and because he is that deep, they're able to get the ball into Cruz underneath before he's even able to get there.
Sensible playing way off. 23-yard gain on a 3rd down. Flag is thrown. Bradshaw takes the handoff. 3:33 left. Scott Green will give us the call momentarily.
It's like DeMarcus Ware with a quick step.
Offside. Defense. Number 94. 5-yard penalty. First down.
You saw him on the sideline. Then he comes back in and over anxious. And that will move the ball to the 32-yard line to make it 1st and 5. 3:33 left. Giants down by 12. Have 2 timeouts. Rolling, throwing, and does he make the catch in bounds? He does. Hakeem Nicks. Both feet in, and the ball will be spotted at the 7-yard line.
It's really good route running by Hakeem Nicks. Gives it a good hard inside move. Does he get his feet down? Yes, he does. Clean catch. I tell you, this young man has been impressive tonight.
Put it at the 10-yard game. 8 catches, 163 for Nicks. To the corner, and that's batted away. Intended for Manningham, and Alan Ball got the hand up to defend it. 2nd and goal.
Huge play by Alan Ball. Looked like he was beaten on the play. Maybe the ball a bit underthrown, but Ball just elevates and gets his hands on the ball. Of course, Jenkins being in and out of the game tonight, it has really fallen on Alan Ball, and he's done a nice job. Every time the Giants have to snap it, even if they eventually score, that clock keeps ticking.
2nd down goal. Good protection. Pass is caught for a touchdown. Jake Ballard at the goal line. And the Giants will make it a 1-possession game.
Just check and make sure he's in the end zone. First of all, I thought he got the ball over the goal line. Doesn't have to be over it. On it, it's good enough. And I think that front point is over the front edge of the line. Remember, doesn't have to cross the line. And really, nothing really that Sean Lee can do. That's just rebound position right there, and good strong hands. And Eli got it done in the clutch one more time in hopes of saving the Giants season.
And Green waiting for word upstairs, and he is going to review it. They tell him to come on over and take a look at this thing. So that was a 2nd down and goal. If he rules it no touchdown, it's 3rd down.
Let's see if his knees down or elbows down or anything before this ball crosses the line. I would argue it's across there, but
I do too. I just never see where it doesn't cross it.
Yeah, I mean, really right there, even looks over, knee down there. I guess that's going to be the question, but it looked like it was over the front edge of that line. Remember, any part of the ball touches any part of the white line on the goal line, you've got a touchdown right there. That knee, well, interesting. When that knee's down right there, I can see where they could place it.
So clearly it's over there. He has possession. Now the knee comes down.
Remember, he could cross the goal line before that. So is it over there? I think the knee is down at that point, and the ball is not across. But after the catch, was the ball across that front edge of the white line?
Right. Ballard had there was a touchdown that was Coughlin thought it was a touchdown taken away. That Coughlin thought the challenge should have been won on last week, early in the game against Green Bay. Here's Green.
After reviewing the play, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Touchdown.
It was easy to get confused there because when the knee was down, the ball was not across, but the ball crossed the line before the knee got down. I think that's the correct ruling, don't you?
I do. So the Giants now, an 80-yard drive, and here we go to a 5-point game again at 34-29. 3:14 to go. The Giants with 2 timeouts and the 2-minute warning, and the Cowboys to get the ball.
Here we go. He's standing in the end zone at this point, but those feet still have to get down. 1-2 there. And I think now as he turns, the ball did cross the line. He's in the end zone there. Feet still have to get down. And at that point, right there is, I think, where that ball crosses the end line. And that's significant. I mean, it may well be the difference between having to try an onside kick, possibly kicking away and using your timeouts. But also remember that each team has already blown 1 timeout this half.
Showed you before how close Eli was to tying a record. Unitas again in a 12-game season, 14 fourth-quarter touchdown passes in 59, and that's when that streak was still going on of 47 games, which Drew Brees is closing in on. Drew throwing a touchdown pass now in 40 straight games. Peyton, of course, the brother, setting it in a 16-game season.
Yeah, you always judge records by who's on the list. That's a pretty good list.
Right. Of course.
I don't think you're going to see the Giants onside this. I think they'll kick it deep.
I agree with you. Cowboys, though, will protect that front area and settle for the touchback here. And now Romo in the fourth quarter. He's no slouch. Tony, 4 game-winning drives. Eli with 5. 4th highest passer rating among active quarterbacks, and there it is, highest fourth quarter passer rating in his career among the active guys. Babe Laufenberg, does the radio for them. He was researching that when he was rehabbing, and somehow he said it on his radio show, and Jerry Jones heard about it. He said, "Is that true?" And Babe said, "I don't want to get in the middle of this thing," because it enabled Jerry to kind of say something to Jason Garrett about let's be more aggressive in the fourth quarter. Hello?
Do you think that happens with Jerry?
Just guessing. From the 20-yard line, first down. And through the middle goes Jones. Big night for Felix on a night when he had to produce after the injury to Murray, which turned out to be a fractured ankle.
Yeah, you've got to be careful with Felix Jones. That time Michael Boley kind of rolled over the top a little bit early, and the cutback coming back behind it. So even though as a defensive player here you're wild-eyed and you want to go attack the football, with Felix Jones in the backfield, the cutback is really a much bigger threat than just the power running off tackle.
Of course, the Cowboys are going to milk that clock down. This is a big stop for the Giants here because they would like to take their timeout defensively. Here's Jones, and now they can do that at the 24-yard line, and Coughlin will take that timeout here.
That's a way to play it by Jason Pierre-Paul. He did not buy into the fact that the cutback wasn't coming and sat home and made the play. Here it comes. Play starts away. Felix Jones cuts back, and Jason Pierre-Paul sitting right there waiting for it. Great defense. He has had a monster night. Boy, you don't put on a tape of the New York Giants defensively and come away going, oh my goodness, who is this guy? So he didn't really even like football. He used to watch him and go, God, those guys are crazy out there. I'd never play that game. And they brought him out. He didn't know the rules. He didn't know anything about the game. And finally the coach gave him a very simple instruction, said, go get the quarterback. And he said, okay, I can do that. And now he's a millionaire because of it.
Probably earning some trips to Hawaii in the future, too. 3rd down and 5 now. Again, big stop coming for the Giants here. They had to use an earlier timeout. They're down to 1 plus the 2-minute warning, and Romo's going to throw, and too deep for Austin.
Goodness.
Austin had beaten the coverage. 4th down, it works out perfectly for the Giants. They'll get the ball back. They only had to use one timeout, and they have a ton of time left.
Oh, they showed their blitz. Romo exposed them on the blitz. He knew he had one-on-one coverage right down the field here. Absolutely wide open. No way in the world can Tony Romo miss that throw. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Here's Matt McBriar. And this is a short kick, not a good kick from one of the better punters in the league, and the Giants are going to get the ball at their own 40-yard line. That's a 35-yard boot.
Wow.
And this crowd of over 95,000 is pretty close to being stone silent right now.
You know, Tony Romo tried to make a perfect throw on that one, and he didn't have to be. All he had to do was complete the pass. He was that wide open. You just hit the pass, throw it to his back shoulder, nice and easy, get the completion, get a fresh set of downs, and the Giants are in a world of hurt at that point.
Nervous time.
Boy, it doesn't help your fourth quarter and overall reputation, and that's one they talk about.
From the 42. Here comes the blitz. Pick it up. Pass is caught. This is Ballard. And he already has the ball to the 38-yard line, and that's going to tick us down to the 2-minute warning. Giants need a touchdown. They have one timeout. Control of the NFC East at stake on Sunday Night Football. Two minutes to go. First down at the Dallas 37. Oh, and it's an errant snap, and it's all the Giants can do to come up with it. And on the play before that, with a flag thrown, the snap was also low. When Manning was able to scoop it up, the Giants are indicating the flag should be against Dallas.
Offside. Defense number 94 lined up in the neutral zone.
Wow.
5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Second penalty on Ware in the last couple of minutes.
Could be a season-saving penalty. Second one for DeMarcus Ware in this big moment. And Kevin Booth just shot this one over the moon. Ware at the top. Ball snapped. I mean, not even close.
So it's first down and 5 after that. Good protection. Manning throws. That's caught at the 24-yard line by Victor Cruz.
Now you can tell that the Cowboys a little hesitant now because of some of the injuries on the outside. Allen Ball forced to cover one-on-one, which is keeping Rob Ryan out of some blitzes.
And the pass is not caught. It is Manningham, who looked like he was going to make the catch in the end zone and couldn't come up with it. Second down.
Eli Manning cannot make a better throw. Absolutely cannot make a better throw. Incredible. Pressure, 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 season on the line, and Manningham can't make a relatively simple catch for the game winner. Wow.
Whoever wins, I mean, the loser's going to look back and go, are you kidding?
Wow.
Second down and 10. 127. Again, a very low snap. And Manny gets hit. A flag is thrown, intended for Nix. Where that time on the blitz. Here's Green again.
And Eli with another left-handed throw.
Holding. Defense number 25. 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
Frank Walker, the cornerback.
Just got him hooked. It was Cruz with the inside release here. Going to get inside. They had him double coverage. And that is holding. But I tell you, there's Eli with this left-handed. He has made a few big mistakes with that left hand before.
Ware now comes out again. Butler lines up in that spot, 57. They block him. Manning buys time, throws, caught, and to the 1-yard line goes Ballard.
And now for the Dallas Cowboys, you almost have to call the timeouts now.
Absolutely.
You've got to take this and assume they're going to score, and you've got to leave yourself some opportunity on the backside of this.
1st and goal, and the Giants are going to let that clock run down.
Timeout, Dallas.
And they do take it. Took them a couple of extra seconds, but they're forced into it. On a 1st and goal, there's Ballard finally taken down at the 1-yard line.
Plenty of time. Really, the Cowboys dropped everybody, and because of all the injuries back there, Danny McCray, number 40, ends up in the key coverage position. But for Rob Ryan's defense, this has been a train wreck. I mean, this is, what, a 12-point lead and about 5 minutes to go, and Eli Manning is doing the impossible again.
Well, they've had some train wrecks this year. At the Jets, Lions here. Different kind of train wreck last week. 1st and goal with 60 seconds.
Interesting scenario here. If you score the touchdown, you go for 2 to try and make it a 7-point lead. But you probably don't really care if they stop you on this first one and burn a little clock.
Here's Jacobs. And Jacobs is going to get taken down at the 1-yard line. Dallas has 1 timeout left, and they will take it here. So they're out of timeouts. You're going to have
Timeout.
a
Dallas.
2nd down and goal.
Final timeout. The 30-second timeout.
Again, the NFC East, very simple. Giants will move into a tie for 1st place and in effect own the tie break by virtue of this win. The teams will meet again week 17 at the Meadowlands. There's a look.
And now, do you have the guts to call a pass? Because Rob Ryan's going to send everybody. They are going to send the house here and force you to put the ball up on the goal line.
Jacobs behind Hynoski. He has it to the right side. He goes and he's in for the touchdown. So it's a touchdown for the Giants. They take the lead. There are 46 seconds remaining, and the Cowboys will not have a timeout.
Boy, Henry Hynoski really with a blow-up block, which was really the difference on this play. Gets underneath the shoulder pads of, I think that's Brooking, and gives Jacobs just enough. And now the 2-point conversion, and it is a big one.
To make it a 3-point lead, which would, if the Cowboys were able to get a field goal, send the game in all probability into overtime. So trying to make it 3.
50's the mic, meaning they think that he could blitz.
Instead, they give it to DJ Ware, and he is able to work his way into the end zone to make it a 3-point lead.
Now, this is as good a quarterback performance in the clutch with the season on the line as I have seen in a long, long time. Manningham drops what should have been the go-ahead touchdown. Doesn't phase Eli Manning. I don't think anything phases Eli Manning. Comes right back and does it again. He has been a one-man team this year. Remarkable.
8 lead changes in the game. Each of these teams with some dramatic, thrilling victories and some excruciating losses.
Pretty good job by Petrus with that kick-out block, and DJ Ware, who started the game, finishes the game.
And so now the Cowboys with 46 seconds against the Giant defense that has given up 391 yards tonight.
Now Tony Romo's got to come back after missing that throw on the previous series that would have locked the game up in all likelihood. And he's got to do what Eli just did.
A pass to Austin. And that will be a kneel down in the end zone. So Romo from the 20. Bailey's a good kicker. His range would be probably thinking 53 or 54 yards. There he is warming up for what he hopes will be an opportunity to tie the game. Romo looking for about 45 or 50 yards in that amount of time to at least give Bailey a shot at it. Giants rush 4. Pass is caught. Austin up to the 40-yard line. Ball comes out, but after the play, they ruled it down at the 40-yard line. Dallas wants to get up to the line. They don't have a timeout.
Yeah, but because the ball was picked up, they're going to blow this thing dead, and the clock is going to stop.
And then they'll restart it.
Huge benefit.
Now it starts again, and Tony can spike it here. So you have 29 seconds. You have a second down.
And I think as much as anything, Tony wanted to make sure that thing didn't get reviewed. Right here, just one-on-one. They've got 2 deep safeties, and let's see what happens to this ball. I think the knee's down. Good, no call.
Boston just wanted to get rid of it, have it spotted. The ball's at the 42-yard line. Second down. Giants with 3 linemen with their hands on the ground.
Giants were coming with the blitz, and Romo got him.
Yes, he did. They're coming anyway. They dump it off to the outside. Jones has to try to get out of bounds, and he does. Boy, that last spin move. And he's out of bounds at the 48-yard line.
I want you to find me another defensive end that can make an open field tackle on Felix Jones the way Jason Pierre-Paul just did on that one. He's going to drop back in coverage, open field, probably 10 yards on either side of him, and he brings him down. That is a capper.
And almost kept him in bounds. Third down, 3rd and 4. Romo over the middle. That's caught by Austin. He gets to the 30-yard line, gets rid of the ball. Tony's going to spike it here. And right now they're in position to kick about a 47-yard field goal. And Romo will spike it with 6 seconds. So Bailey has kicked a pair of 49-yarders tonight.
Where have we seen this before?
Oh man, oh man, oh man.
This is almost a repeat of last week, and here we go. Well, Tony Romo answered. What a game.
This will be a 47-yard field goal attempt for the rookie Bailey. McBriar will hold it. And the whistles blow because the Giants had their last timeout and they used it.
Prior to the snap, timeout, New York. New York used their 3rd and final timeout.
Tom Coughlin watched the Cowboys on tape last week, too.
Yep.
Here's the clock. Watch Coughlin. Bingo. There you go. Well before the snap.
And just like last week, the kick goes through.
And
what?
We have seen the numbers. Icing the kicker statistically does not work. But if it works here, Ian Bailey is going to have a lot to think about.
From 47. Oh, unbelievable. Unbelievable. That's, I think, Pierre-Paul who got a hand on it. That is amazing. But Scott Green is saying, hold everything, hold everything. Trying to get the teams off the field. So Green is just saying the game is not over. Here comes Pierre-Paul. and he does get just a little bit of it. And the reason the game is not over is because there's 1 second left. So there has to be one more play. And the Giants will end it with a kneel down. It is an unbelievable
63 reporting eligible.
turn
63.
of events.
Jason Pierre-Paul, if you're not in the Pro Bowl this year, there should be an investigation based on one game alone. Absolutely amazing. And I have to say, again, Eli Manning this season has been phenomenal. I know Peyton Manning's a great player. Nobody could do better than what Eli Manning has done in the clutch this season.
And the Giants are alive and well again. Despite a 4-game losing streak, despite almost falling below 500, despite putting themselves in an untenable position, they are now in control of whether they get to the playoffs or not, and will not have to play another game outside of their stadium this year.
And the Giants now undefeated in this stadium.
3-0 here. Yep.